Hello, welcome. My name is Jodi Scholes. I am your instructor for the MBLEx review course. And we're excited today to be here to study pathology.
Break it down.
Let's talk a little bit about osteoporosis. So, what is it? You've heard of it? Can you nail it? All right. It's a pathology where the bones become brittle. Osteoporosis, osteopenia, that's less severity. It's in the same family. Osteopenia is just the early stages of osteoporosis. So they're not two different conditions. They're basically the same condition. Osteoporosis is just the bones have become fragile. So osteopenia, there's been some bone mass loss. Well, what does that look like? Take a peek. All right. So you can see these symptoms of osteoporosis. Here's a healthy spine. Here's a little bit of a kyphotic curve. And then there's hyperkyphosis. Kyphosis or hyperkyphosis are both conditions of the thoracic spine. One is just a little less severe than the other, right? So kyphosis, hyperkyphosis, or hunchback. That hunched back. Hunchback of Notre Dame. Did you read that in school? That hunched back. He had kyphosis. Yeah. So, and oftentimes because of the condition, the osteoporosis condition, these bones are brittle and it can lead to fracture. That's the danger. So let's take a look at what's actually happening in the bone with osteoporosis. And our session adaptation is to use less pressure. You're not going to be massaging directly on the bone anyhow. But if you're seeing a client with the condition of osteoporosis, what's happening is, take a look here. This is the normal density of a vertebrae. Look at the open airy parts here. This is what's happening with osteoporosis, the bone density loss. Next slide shows it a little more too. So normal bone, nice dense, right? Osteoporotic bone. So look at that word, osteoporotic. I just used it as an adjective. So I'm describing a bone. Sometimes these questions on the MBLEx are going to be like, what? Are they talking about osteoporosis? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So bone density, and here we're highlighting an area in the lumbar spine that is vulnerable. You get this kyphosis here, and then all of a sudden this, like another big lordotic curve, hyperlordosis. And that's again because of weight bearing. That's where we're bearing some weight. That can be susceptible to fracture. So where are we most susceptible to fracture with osteoporosis? Hip, spine, and wrist. What are the risk factors for osteoporosis? Gender, females get it more than males, like 9 out of 10 times. Age, almost always elderly. An elderly person is getting osteoporosis, usually over 45, over 50, because their hormones have changed, right? Asian Americans are like so pale skin, so European women as well sometimes are subject. So white, fair skin, light hair, light bones. Little birds, like we call them little birdie women, right? So, and you'll see in another chart who doesn't get osteoporosis. But body size, if you're small framed.
Okay, thank you.
So if you're small framed as well, you can be susceptible. So risk factors, age, gender, females, Caucasian and Asian race tend to have osteoporosis more. Inactive, low vitamin D, low estrogen. So after the age of 50, 55, as women's estrogen production starts to go down. Smoking can be a risk factor, and quitting certain drugs can also be a risk factor. But let's take a look at the epidemiology of osteoporosis. And what the heck is epidemiology? So epidemiology, I'm going to just, just a moment because I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. Epidemiology is the branch of medicine that deals with the incidence, distribution, and possible control of diseases and other factors relating to health. So, technically, epidemiology is the study of pathology, the epidemiology of osteoporosis. So, who gets it? What races? So, the epidemiology of osteoporosis. So, that's branch of medicine that deals with the incidence, who gets it, the distribution, how many get it, and the possible control of those diseases. So, all right, so we're back to our regularly scheduled program. All right, so who gets it? In the US, about 8 million women, and 2 million, about 2 million out of the 8 million have it. Those are rough numbers. So 1 in 3 women, and then 1 in 12 men. 7% are postmenopausal. Who doesn't get it? Mexican American women. They just don't get it. About 10% actually. Who does get it? Non-Hispanic white women. And men of all ages, young and old, but only about 6%. And Black women also, rarely, about 5% of the time. So the epidemiology. So if you see that word on the MBLEx, it just means the study of. So the epidemiology, the study of osteoporosis, all sorts of statistics. Okay, and away we go. So how does it relate to massage therapy? So how can you, as a massage therapist, assist a client who's been diagnosed with osteoporosis? Well, whether it's osteopenia or osteoporosis, recognizing those high-risk clients. I think of them as like the little birdie clients, right? The ones who are frail. Not just the old folks, right? Because old ladies, old women, senior citizen women do tend to be frail. However, I've had people who've gotten osteopenia, a diagnosis of osteopenia at 45. So recognizing those clients who are at high risk. And if you think that they're having some symptoms, encouraging them to get seen by a doctor. And uh, avoid using deep pressure techniques. We don't do any pressure on the spine anyhow, but just be cognizant of and refrain from doing any massage techniques that could endanger or hurt, right? First, do no harm. And then encouraging clients to do activities that build bone mass. So being proactive, saying, hey, I learned about osteoporosis in school, and what can be done to improve it? And I'll show you that slide in just a moment. The biggest risk factor for osteoporosis is that people don't know they have it. And they don't know they have it until they fall. So sometimes the first sign of osteoporosis is fracture. They've fallen and broken a hip. Yeah. So just knowing those early warning signs and what can be done to increase bone mass. Let me see. Oh, thank you for answering the question, Ensley and Lana. The question that was asked earlier was, how heavy is your head? 8 to 12 pounds. So yes, you were both right, 8 to 12 pounds. But at times they say the first sign of an artery being blocked is a heart attack, right? Well, sometimes the first sign of osteoporosis is falling and fracturing. Yeah. So just being aware of who is in that high risk factor and advising them on what they can do for prevention. And there are lovely things like this that you could even hang in your office or have as a handout that talks about osteoporosis for those women or men who are at high risk factors. So again, it's the genders, mostly women, elderly, white, and frail. Those are the high risk factors. You might get asked about that on the MBLEx. Um, and prevention. How can we prevent? So, for those of you who are certified in personal training, you know the answer to this. You can do weight bearing exercise. That is one of the best ways to stop the progression of osteopenia. Weight bearing exercise. So go to the gym, carry your groceries, weight bearing, body weight exercises are also great. Um, so let's weight bearing exercise. I thought I had a picture of it, but here you see in this little corner the prevention, right? So eat foods that are high in calcium and high in vitamin D. Our body doesn't actually produce vitamin D. We have to get it from outside sources. And one of the easiest ways to get it is sunlight. You know, the universe didn't make no fool. They know we don't make vitamin D, so they give us sunlight. We can get it from just 15 minutes of sunlight, is one way to get vitamin D. Yeah. And that's why it's also fortified in milk, right? So dairy products. But for some people, they're lactose intolerant and they can't use dairy products. We'll see in just a moment other sources of vitamin D for them. Vitamins and supplements, avoid smoking and drinking. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So, ways to prevent the progression of osteo. A good diet that includes calcium and vitamin D. Um, your bones store about 99% of the calcium. However, the vitamin D helps your body absorb the calcium. So what's the role of vitamin D? Helps your body, your bones absorb the calcium. So both are important. But what if you can't drink milk or you can't have dairy? You can get vitamin D in broccoli, in kale, in oranges, apricots, salmon, almonds. But the best way, the very best way, of course, improve your diet, don't smoke, don't drink too much. Um, but the very best way is that weight bearing exercise, to help stop the progression of the disease. Weight bearing exercise. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the difference. We're going to move into the third category. Well, not our third stage, but the last category of learning today. And that is the difference between osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. What? What do you mean? We have to know the difference between these two types of arthritis? Yeah, you do. Because they're really different. Most,
Break it down.
maybe you'll get it as a Jeopardy question. Okay. How can one prevent osteoporosis and osteopenia? How can one prevent osteoporosis or osteopenia? A. Long distance running. B. Walking. C. You can't avoid it, it's genetic. D. Weight bearing exercise. Mhm. All right, let's get rid of the one we know is wrong. Long distance running is not going to help you with osteoporosis. That is not going to be a good idea if you have osteopenia. Whoa, everybody's got an answer. All right, let's. Oh, yay! All right, I'm going to just say, I want to say your name. I want to say your name. Um, Good. All right, I'm going to go backwards. All right, Tammy, yes, good. Valerie, yes. Angie, yes. Ms. V, you're in. Nucha, you got it. Yes. Diana, you got it. Ensley, you got it. Marina, yes. Anastasia, yes. Latrice, Kijo, yep. Tiffany, good. Mimi, you got it. Yep. Yolanda, you're in. Good. And it is, out of those answers, weight bearing exercise. So walking is lovely, and it's good to stay active, but weight bearing exercise, absolutely the best answer there. And if it's in your genes, can you avoid it? It's actually good to know if your mom had it or your aunt had it. Um, then good to know that you can prevent it by some of those ways we've talked about. Good job. And now you know too that osteopenia is the early stage of osteoporosis. Other ways, lifestyle modifications, calcium D. Yeah. And so Yeah, and so depending on the stage of osteopenia, of osteoporosis, don't fall. Like, if you have osteoporosis, just don't fall. Don't go skiing, you know? Final question. What is the difference between rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis? And so, whoop-a-doo, whoop-de-doo, yay, we're done. How's that for a little pathology, huh? Crazy. Yeah. And you know what we did, guys and gals? We studied 4 out of about the 40 um, categories of pathology. We studied the skeletal system today, and we didn't even get to the types of joints. But that's okay. We covered a lot of ground, and we covered some good ground. And now you know a lot, not just the pathology, pathology of these, but also kind of the structure, that what the contents are. Um, all right, let's go. So I will say thank you very much. I'm going to hang out for a few minutes afterwards here. I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for studying. Thank you for wanting to be a massage therapist. Oh, the world needs you now. Honestly, this is your calling. This is, look, you may be an excellent artist. You might be a musician. You might be an accountant. But let me tell you, the call to be a massage therapist, thank you, Mimi. Mimi says manifesting pass for all of us. Um, but that no matter what pays your bills right now, this is part of your DNA. I would love to tell you that you could put it away and forget about it. Ain't gonna happen. It's gonna be like tick, 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 tick. Get licensed. Get licensed. Go do body work. Yeah, yeah. Because not everybody wants to be a massage therapist. And because you guys are on the path, I know this about you. I know it's your calling. So thanks for being here and answering the call. You're doing it. Nice. So signing off for today. As I mentioned, I'll hang out here with the students who are in class, our graduates who are here in class. But we'll see you again real soon.